Greetings, my fellow knights. Welcome back to the channel. For this video, I'm going to talk about something yet again near and dear to my heart. Though this time it's in the completely opposite direction of the last video I made. This one's going to be about something I really love talking about and why I think you should personally partake in it. I'm in college, as you all know, so last year we were allowed to pick a topic that we really wanted to and write about it. So, of course, being the big nerd I am, I chose anime. No, I'm just joking, I don't want to ruin my entire credibility. No, I chose to talk about The Legend of Zelda as a series, though I focused on two games in particular. One my favorite and one not so my favorite. I've chosen to read out the selection to you guys, and I hope that you'll at least find it interesting. If you're not into Legend of Zelda, hopefully this video might kind of push you towards trying out at least one of them. So, without further ado, here we go. A historic journey through time. A critique of the Legend of Zelda franchise. The idea of heroes and heroic journeys has been with mankind for many centuries and remains one of the most popular forms of entertainment and media. It's no surprise that people of different age groups may be drawn to tales of brave individuals fighting against circumstance, nature, and often a dark lord or two, in order to either liberate their world or return to a simple life from which they had been ripped. As the media becomes more technologically advanced, so did the presentation of the hero's journey, with a couple of examples being the journey of Luke Skywalker from the Star Wars film series, and Aang growing to become the savior of his world in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Video games aren't exempt from storytelling involving heroic figures and the conflicts that they may face, one of those being Legend of Zelda and its protagonist, Link. Since I'm referring to a long-lasting franchise with 19 main entries and a number of spin-off games, I've chosen one of my favorite entries from the series' established timelines, and I will describe elements that made me fall in love with the franchise as a whole. The Legend of Zelda is an action-adventure franchise with a focus on puzzle solving created in 1986 by Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka, two Japanese Nintendo game designers. The original idea for the series began with Miyamoto. In his youth, the game designer enjoyed exploring caves, lakes, villages, and forests near his home in Japan. According to the game designer, one memorable event that helped inspire the cave in a forest, or the first dungeon in every Zelda game, was the discovery of a cave in a forest that scared him when he was a kid. After gathering a bit of courage and a lantern, Miyamoto entered and explored the cave. From that point forward, the idea of an action-based adventure grew within his mind. A few sources of inspiration also came from around the world. You ever think of the name Zelda? It actually came from the wife of F. Scott Fitzgerald, who inspired Miyamoto because the name itself was such a beautiful one. At least that's what he said. The main character and the idea of a fairy companion came, not so surprisingly, from Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. Finally, the most powerful weapon in the game, the Master Sword, shares many similarities with Excalibur from Arthurian legend. These elements culminate in a story that has been told for 3 decades and remains going strong if you look at Breath of the Wild sales. While each entry in the series contains a different story, they share an origin point and general plot. The series focuses on Link, a young elf-like male who embodies the element of courage. Link's default name was chosen because it signifies the link between the character and the player. The player is, however, always given the option to fill in his or her name, instead of adopting the moniker of Link. Though portrayed as someone of humble beginnings ranging from a farmhand to a lazy islander, Link is often called to fight on behalf of the titular character, Princess Zelda, in order to save the Kingdom of Hyrule from the series' antagonist, Ganondorf. Ganon, an evil wizard and king of a tribe of warrior women, seeks the power of the Triforce, an artifact that grants great power and the wish of one who gathers the 3 golden triangles. At the end of each journey, Link continues on to greater adventures, seemingly unable to return to the simple life that he had been living before. Though not a game I will be discussing, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time causes the split in the Zelda timeline and produces 3 timelines within the series. Detailed within the Hyrule Historia, a book created to address any topic in regard to the series, the split in the timeline comes about from the 3 separate chance happenings. The standout timeline is one where Link dies in his fight with Ganondorf, though his timeline is not the one that will be cited beyond this point. The other timelines are produced when Link defeated the Dark Wizard Ganondorf and is either sent back to his childhood to warn Zelda, or simply chooses to remain an adult but leaves Hyrule. While these timelines may share a breaking off point, each begins developing unique traits from this point onward. Tone is an important feature. Whether it's for a book, movie, or any sort of media being presented, needless to say, this can be applied to Zelda as well, with each game varying in its tone and presentation. The first game to be discussed is Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess saw its initial release on Nintendo's GameCube and Wii consoles in 2006. It was later re-released in 2016 with high-definition graphics and numerous patches to address prior bugs. The most notable feature in Twilight Princess is how dark the game is, both in tone and graphics. This juxtaposes it with its predecessor, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, quite a bit. Released in December 2002, and again in 2013 as a high-definition re-release, Wind Waker, an adult timeline game, was released directly after its critically acclaimed predecessor, Ocarina of Time, but carries itself differently. The game focuses on a more light-hearted style, which is bolstered by the use of cel-shaded graphics that grant a sleeker and more cartoon-like feel. This was not well received by most fans, especially coming off the heels of the darker Ocarina of Time, though the game sold well. As a result, Nintendo opted to create a darker and more somber-looking world, the world of Twilight Princess. During the original run of the game, Twilight Princess was plagued with areas too dark to see around, which led to slowing of progress. The tone of the story also matched the dark world, including themes of death, abandonment, politics, and depression. Wind Waker, on the other hand, is presented as a bright and polished game, thanks to the cel-shaded graphics. While Twilight Princess never evokes a feeling of adventure because of the heavy focus on the story, Wind Waker finds a balance of story nuggets dropped amidst the adventure-filled Great Sea. As expected of a world comprised of islands, the game uses a variety of bright and warm colors to paint a vivid and enticing spectacle to watch. While the tone of each Zelda game may vary, one thing remains constant, and that is the music. It is amazing. Each main entry's music is composed by Nintendo's expert composer, Koji Kondo, and he brings out the potential of each game with gorgeous pieces that fit every moment and location. Though Twilight Princess lacks visual presentation, in my opinion anyway, the music has a haunting charm that makes it unique and carries either intense or somber emotion. The track Midna's Lament plays at a very low moment in the story, where the life of Link's main companion is at risk. The piano keys that drop and linger always chips away at my soul, despite the fact that Midna is one of my least favorite companions through the franchise. Further down the intensity scale is the second phase of the final boss, Dark Beast Ganon. Comprised of drums, tribal chants, and whimsical notes, this theme captures the image of an aggressive pig demon thrashing about a desolate throne room. Even a series staple like the theme of Hyrule Field obtained an intense makeover to match the darker tone that the world gives off. In a manner similar to each tone of the world, Wind Waker sets itself apart from its successor, once more, a recurring theme. While each Zelda game has great music, Wind Waker takes it upon itself to go beyond great and go phenomenal. Where Twilight Princess has strong percussion instruments and lower tones to convey the strength and intensity of each obstacle, Wind Waker employs more strings and woodwind instruments to evoke a soft, melodious sound. This is most evident in the starting area, Outset Island, though the same instruments have a knack for snapping into sharp and intensive themes, such as Molgara's boss theme. The more cartoon-style world also lends itself well to multiple types of music that are experimented in the game, from the Western-styled mini-boss theme to the techno theme of the automaton Godon, and even castanets, guitars, and flutes for the theme of Dragon Roost Island. However, the greatest tracks on Wind Waker's roster are The Great Sea, a theme that screams adventure amidst an ocean filled with excitement and danger. The final boss theme, which bombards the player's ears with an overwhelming beat. It has formerly flooded Hyrule, begins to be buried forever under the waves of the Great Sea once more. Overall, this game exudes greatness and character through gameplay and, most importantly, its music. The final element to cover is the presentation of the protagonist, Link. In order to convey a more serious game, Nintendo aged Link into an adult for Twilight Princess, ranging from the age of 17 to 18. Unfortunately, the darker tone of the game does not add anything to the character. Past the tutorial level in which we get to see Link's life as a farmhand and a group of kids, Link hardly emotes beyond an angry scowl or grunt. Whether this lack of a personality or an expressed emotion runs the risk of disconnecting the player from the character, especially as gaming becomes more narrative and character-driven. This is a problem that is non-existent in Wind Waker, however. The Link of Wind Waker, my favorite iteration of the character, is a child around the age of 11 or 12. The game opens with his younger sister searching for him in order to grant him a gift for his birthday. The young boy, clothed in a blue shirt with a simple lobster design, is sleeping up on a tower used to gaze upon the ocean. Once found by his sister, and awakened by her likewise, he yawns and then shows surprise, as he has forgotten his own birthday. Surprise. A variation of Link that shows emotion beyond an angry scowl or blank expression. As the story progresses, more instances of the character's emotive nature appear, ranging from discomfort at having to accept the easily identifiable green tunic of the hero, anger when his sister is kidnapped by a demonic bird, and genuine happiness when he slays the bird and frees his sister. Everything that this Link does just gives off personality and memorability, which is amplified by the cel-shaded graphics that I keep alluding to. The Legend of Zelda franchise has persisted for 31 years, and is one of the most acclaimed game franchises to date. This series has spread across the world in many different forms, ranging from manga to cartoons. Zelda has a profound effect on the lives of those it has touched. As a writer and artist, I cannot claim that this franchise has not inspired me in some way, as I'm sure it has for others. Perhaps now I can inspire someone else to have the adventure of a lifetime, like the young Miyamoto did when he entered a cave, with just a bit of courage and a lantern. That's the end of my essay as to the heroic journey in The Legend of Zelda. Thank you for sticking through this with me, and until the King summons us again, keep your flames a-burning, my fateful knights.